today we're taking a look at a really interesting source, Matthew McConaughey's book, Greenlights.
Right. And what's fascinating is where it comes from. It's not just a memoir. It's pulled directly from, 35 years of his own diaries and notes?
Exactly. He basically went back through all this personal writing to try and find what he calls a reliable theme in his own life.
Yeah, it's like he's opening up the vault, sharing the sights, the feelings, the good stuff, the shameful stuff. He even calls it a love letter to life, which is quite a statement.
It really is. So our aim here is to kind of unpack that. Look at the surprising stories, the funny bits, but also the deeper insights he pulls from his journey, how he deals with life's ups and downs.
And he gives us this framework for it, right? This whole green lights idea.
Yeah, the green lights, yellow lights, red lights. It's his metaphor for how life flows, or sometimes how it stops you in your tracks.
Green means go, you're cruising. Yellow is, caution, maybe push through, maybe pivot, maybe even back off sometimes.
And red lights are the full stops, the challenges, the really tough times.
But the book isn't about, trying to get only green lights. It's more about how you handle the yellows and reds. And sometimes those reds, those times, we all step in shit, as he puts it. But they can actually turn out to be good luck later on. Or at least you learn something crucial.
It's a way of making sense of it all, isn't it? And it sounds like this is something he's been grappling with for years in those journals.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to solve the riddle of living. Big questions. How to be fair, how to stress less, have fun, hurt less, be a good person, get what you want, find meaning.
Be more yourself, all the big stuff.
Yeah. And he collects these little takeaway lessons along the way. He calls them bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah, like those little things people put on their cars that tell you something about them. He sees his life lessons as these concise, sticky ideas, his own personal bumper stickers.
I like that. So let's dig into some of those foundational experiences, those early bumper stickers. A lot seems to come from his family, his upbringing.
Oh, definitely. Youngest of 3 boys, parents who were twice divorced and thrice married to each other.
All right, that alone tells you it wasn't exactly conventional.
Not at all. And he's really upfront about the contrasts. He says, we grew up saying, I love you, and they meant it. Huge amounts of affection.
Right.
But then also intense conflict. Like he mentions his dad breaking his mom's finger 4 separate times.
Wow, that's quite a juxtaposition. Love and violence side by side.
Yeah, he calls it love that was bloody sometimes, but never in question. It clearly built a certain kind of resilience, maybe?
You'd have to be resilient. So what values came out of that? What were the rules?
Well, some core things. Don't hate, never say I can't, don't lie. And this idea that your name means something, but the discipline, it was different.
How so?
It seemed like getting caught was often the bigger crime than the act itself. And there was physical discipline, but then almost immediately after that, they might go out for cheeseburgers. Make it quick, sharp, and move on. Don't waste time dwelling on it.
That is definitely unconventional. Ties into that outlaw libertarian idea he mentioned.
Exactly. This family philosophy of being rule breaker, but not just for the sake of it. It was like you learn the rules, you follow them until you're man enough to break them intelligently.
Find the loopholes, the slipstream.
Right. Understand the system before you mess with it.
And the family stories really illustrate this. Like his dad calling about his name Kelly when he wasn't even there.
Yeah. Or learning to swim by being tossed in a river. Literally sink or swim.
Intense. His mom, Kay, sounds like quite a character, too. Forgiving quickly.
She'd say she just forgets things by morning. Key to low stress. And her advice, don't walk into a place like you want to buy it. Walk in like you own it.
Classic. Pure confidence.
And his dad, James, focus on fundamentals, the block and tackle. Didn't suffer fools. And that great line about preferring to lose money having fun than make money being bored.
That really captures the spirit, doesn't it? Taking risks, embracing life.
It does, like that bank loan story. He gets denied, but instead of backing down, he confronts the banker, basically says, we can walk through this door together or you can shut it on me.
And he got the loan. Made them see the green light, as you said.
Yeah. But then there's the darker side of that intensity, like the story with his brother Mike hitting their dad with a 2x4.
That one's rough, knocking him out, the fear, the tears.
And the dad just saying, give it your best shot, boy. It's shocking, but McConaughey includes it to show that bloody sometimes love and how they, learn to be men in that specific, intense environment.
It's a complex picture. And then you have the total opposite, almost, with the other brother, Pat, and the peeing contest.
Yeah, the piss over Fred's head bet. Pat's 8 years old drinking beer on purpose.
To win a dirt bike? And his dad betting the truck on it.
It's wild. Shows the dad's character again, the gambling, the outlaw spirit. And Pat, he ends up a college golfer. So these extremes, the tough and the hilarious, they all feed into who they became.
So with all that outlaw spirit, it's kind of surprising he first aimed for law school.
Right. Seems very conventional. The family lawyer idea. He was set on SMU in Dallas, the practical choice for connections and career.
The safe green light path.
Pretty much. But then he pivoted. First, just changing colleges. Told his dad he preferred UT Austin because he liked Longhorns better than Mustangs.
The easy explanation.
Yeah, the bigger conversation was telling his dad he wanted film school, not law school. That was the real leap, stepping away from the plan. Must have been nerve-wracking.
I bet. But his dad's response was amazing.
After this long pause, just, don't half-ass it.
Wow. Permission, basically, but with high expectations.
Exactly. A total green light, but a demanding one. Go all in.
And he seemed to apply that right away, even in film school, cutting deals with the dean to skip class.
Yeah, saying he needed to be out doing the things the classes were teaching him about, chasing real experience.
Felt like an outsider there anyway, he said. The frat guy among the art film crowd.
Sort of, yeah. But he was already carving his own path, looking for lessons beyond the curriculum.
Which ties into that values travel idea he talks about, finding common ground across different groups.
Like working at Catfish Station, that blues bar. He was the only white guy there.
Took him a while to earn tips, apparently.
Yeah, but he stuck with it for 2 years. Learned so much from the people, the music, especially Tammy the waitress. He realized basic human needs, love, family, community, hope they're universal. Didn't need a passport for that lesson.
Just cross the street. That's a great perspective. And grounding. Before Hollywood. Which brings us to meeting Don Phillips getting dazed and confused.
Right. And finding that launch pad line for Wooderson. I get older, they stay the same age. He said that unlocked the whole character.
Finding the core truth. He wasn't afraid to commit either, like scaring Renee Zellweger to get the Texas chainsaw part.
Totally went for it. But then, boom, he hits Hollywood. And Don Phillips gives him some pretty brutal advice.
Yeah, this town smells needy speech. Basically, get out until you don't need it anymore.
Ouch is right. But, probably invaluable. A major yellow, maybe red light, forcing him to confront that desperation.
And he actually listened. He left, went on that motorcycle trip in Europe.
Deliberately not looking for work. Practicing detachment.
And that's where the Ducati story happens. Wrecking the bike in Germany.
Yeah, and the owner, Johann, just gives him a new one and says, keep riding. Incredible grace. An unexpected green light that came from letting go. He came back different, ready.
And it worked. He lands Angels in the outfield, makes decent money for the first time. His baseball background paid off.
See? Past experiences becoming green lights. And he kept learning, even from small things, like renting that house in Tucson while filming Boys on the Side.
With the maid he was so excited about.
Yeah, but his friend Beth's reaction made him realize something important.
What was that?
Just because he was thrilled about something didn't mean everyone else would be. A reminder about perspective, Don't assume your feelings are universal. A little yellow light check.
Makes sense. Okay, then a really big moment. Wanting the lead in A Time to Kill, Jake Brugans.
Huge. He was only offered the smaller role, the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he felt he was Jake Brugans.
But the studio, Schumacher, said never going to happen. He was too unknown.
Right. And this is where he talks about if only. We often stop ourselves, quit too early, don't take the risk. He's determined not to do that.
He needed things to line up, and they did, kind of randomly, with Sandra Bullock's movie taking off.
Yeah, while you were sleeping. Her success made the studio okay with an unknown lead opposite her. Sometimes you need those external green lights, too.
And the audition itself was key. Schumacher's direction.
Genius. Throw away the script and say what you'd say.
Be you. You are the character.
Exactly. Get rid of the imaginary constraints, the stuff we put on ourselves. Just be authentic. Huge lesson. Not just for acting.
That theme of authenticity, confronting the self, it leads right into the walkabout idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, deliberately stepping away from the noise to face yourself. Get perspective.
Like going to that monastery in New Mexico, feeling messed up by fame.
Feeling undeserving, maybe. He hikes in, spends hours confessing to Brother Christian, probably expecting something. Judgment. Advice.
And what did the monk say?
Simply, I am not your judge. Boom. Transformed him. Put the responsibility back on McConaughey himself. No external validation needed. A massive personal green light found in silence.
But fame kept creating friction, especially with his mom.
Yeah, he felt she got more interested in the celebrity than in him.
The hard copy story is wild.
Yeah.
Seeing her on TV giving a tour of his house.
Unbelievable. He felt he couldn't trust her, that she just wanted a piece of the fame. It created real distance for years.
Until later, when he kind of understood her perspective more. She loves the red carpet.
Right. It ties into his whole philosophy about relationships. Wide shot versus close-up.
Explain that one.
Okay, so wide shots are relationships better kept at a bit of a distance, maybe in-laws, neighbors. You see the potential, the initial impression. Close-ups need, well, closeness, honesty, seeing the flaws, the real person, your spouse, kids, best friend, yourself.
Honeymoon glow is wide shot, real love is close-up.
Exactly. You need that close-up authenticity for the deep connections. His mom maybe shifted between the two, especially with fame involved.
That framework helps make sense of navigating those tricky dynamics. And speaking of disruptions, the Austin arrest, naked conga playing.
Yeah. Another fame-related disruption.
Yeah.
He connects it back to that family logic. The crime wasn't playing naked, it was getting caught.
And the aftermath, his neighborhood becoming a tourist spot, forced him to move. Fame literally invading his space, a definite red light.
But even then, he's still finding lessons. Like in that Montana bar, watching Donnie and Donna.
Finding truth in the mundane.
Yeah, just observing people, their complexities, their dreams, their contradictions. Donna with her degrees bartending. It's all part of the art of living.
All these experiences, the fame, the introspection, seem to clarify what he really wanted next, especially in his personal life.
Totally. Mid-30s, ready for something serious. A lifetime lover, a family. He even had that dream.
The country house, the women and children arriving.
A clear sign of what he was longing for. And then he sees Camilla.
Across the bar. What is that? That moment sounds electric.
And hearing his mom's voice, get your ass up. Go introduce yourself. Instinct and family wisdom pushing him forward. Green light.
And the start wasn't exactly smooth sailing with the towed car and everything.
No, but those little yellow lights, those inconveniences actually brought them together. Fate, maybe, or just life happening.
And the key insight from that Papua New Guinea trip, her answer about what turns her on most being change.
That was it. He realized that was their common ground, a commitment to growth, evolution. Huge.
Which led to big changes, like moving into the Airstream, the canoe.
Yeah, ditching the Hollywood house, starting fresh together. A very conscious green light they chose together, then deciding to have kids.
And fatherhood sounds like it brought another wave of clarity. Finding meaning in Levi's birth time, 6:22 p.m.
Connecting it to scripture, ancient symbols, seeking that deeper layer of meaning in a huge life event.
Compared to his mom's reaction to the pregnancy news. No.
Hilarious, right? Her wide shot reaction, it's out of order, versus his close-up reality of becoming a father. Perfect example.
And all this clarity, fatherhood, family stuff, leads them back to Austin.
Yep. He wanted the manners, the common sense, the optimism for his kids. Closer to his mom, too, but maybe with better boundaries.
And Camila was on board. You son of a bitch, let's do it.
Yeah.
Found a place with room too.
Well, play the congas naked again.
Full circle. He sees those big life shifts, births, deaths, crises, as moments that force clarity, give you courage to live harder, stronger, and truer.
And that courage definitely fueled his career pivot, the McConaughey, deciding to ditch the rom-coms.
That was a huge risk. He expected pushback from his agent about the money.
But the agent was just like, no problem. Another unexpected green light. That freed him up to enter that period of saying no. He called it limbo, but saw it as a crossroads, not a failure, sending a message.
And it worked. By saying no, he became available for different kinds of roles. The target drew the arrow, as he says.
He became a rediscovery. Suddenly, he was right for this. Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, Mud, Magic Mike, Bernie, the roles he wanted.
The sacrifice paid off. He got to unbrand and then invent. His focus shifted.
Fuck the bucks, I'm going for the experience. That was the mantra.
Which led him to fight for Dallas Buyers Club for years.
Yeah, sticking with it, losing the weight, proving he wasn't bluffing, and then diving deep into Rustin Cole for True Detective. He describes that character so vividly.
White hot on the page. Island of a man. He was chasing complexity.
But he hit a point where he felt those characters were maybe more real, more vital than his own life. He'd flipped the script.
Finding more feeling in the roles than in himself.
Exactly. And that realization was the catalyst for the book. Time to reinvest in himself.
Which meant that final walkabout the writing retreat. Going back to old places. Alone with the journals.
Confronting himself, the one person responsible for all of it. Taking stock.
Sounds like it worked. He saw how past reds and yellows had actually become green lights. Lessons learned.
He learned to live to learn. And he connects this whole framework, even to huge events like COVID or George Floyd's murder in 2020,
How so?
as massive societal red lights. Disruptions forcing everyone to get relative, pivot, persist, deal with hard truths.
Like the truth that all lives couldn't matter until Black Lives Matter. A necessary, painful reckoning.
Yeah. So ultimately, he hopes the book is, useful, gives you tools for your own art of living. He'd rather have an experienced C over an ignorant A when it comes to life.
And this science of satisfaction isn't about a perfect life.
No, it's about handling the challenges. You get scars, you can't control everything, but you can learn to navigate.
To dance with time and redeem it, because you live longer when you're busy living, not just trying not to die.
That's the core message, really.
So, wrapping this up, this dive into Greenlights shows us his journey. The wild family, the outlaw rules, finding his way in Hollywood, the power of introspection, love, fatherhood, and that huge career shift.
It's all about navigating those lights authentically, embracing the yellows and reds as much as the greens, learning from it all. His experiences become his, and potentially our, map.
Makes you think about your own map, doesn't it? Your own bumper stickers, your walkabouts, how you handle those different lights in your life.
Definitely. And maybe leave you with this thought from him about the unpredictable nature of life. Expect the unbelievable, good and bad, greatness and evil. It all happens. Depend on it. It's part of living.